to me as a free of charge. I didn't pay a penny to become a pilot. All right, and I pray that the Nigerian government will also help the next generation, any of you here, and where we can support you when you get admission into INCAT, we will be able to help you out, wherever it is. Why? In the sense that I was state government sponsored by my state, you know, and when I finished, I joined the airline. I was sponsored by the airline for various courses. I now became an instructor in Zaria. They sent me on a course and came back and I became an instructor. So by and large, you can see that my parents didn't spend a penny. And because, like Mr. Chidozie was saying, if it was to go by my parents, I don't think I would have been a pilot, because they don't have the resources to do that. But like I said, have no fear about the sponsorship, about the payment. The most important thing is you being admitted in this career that you want to choose today. It is highly competitive. I can speak for my own in the flying school. Right now, I just finished doing an interview for 150 students. And all I'm going to take is 20. 120 students, 150, and the slots only 20. So your problem is not the payment first. Your problem is getting an admission into INCAT. All right? So like the flying school, like as we go on, you might see, you might not get, but you can go to the website and you will be able to get all other information concerning the benchmark on how to get into that profession. So let's start. Now, this is, sorry, I'm getting old, I can hardly see. Well, let's start with the vision of the college. The college is to maintain the prestigious position of the foremost aviation training institution in Africa and to be amongst the best in the world. The mission statement of the college: to consistently provide the aviation industry with professionals and other personnel through training related services for safe air transportation in accordance with international standards. Back again to safety. That's exactly what we're all established about. Next one, please. And our mandate is to train pilots, air traffic controllers, aircraft maintenance engineering, aeronautical telecommunications engineering personnel, and several other specialists in the aviation industry. Training in other fields of humanities, science, and applied learning, conducting research in aviation development. Like I told you earlier on, there are 6 schools, and each school has a set of courses that can be run for different people. Like if you look at underflying school now, they said pilots. It's not only pilots. We have flight attendants, we have dispatchers like my colleagues here, we have ticketing, you know. So there are other courses like in every other school. Whatever what you want to do, you have to find a key school, and then there are other professions under that. Right? These are basically our accreditations, the Authorized Training Organization certificates, the ICAO trainer, plus right now we have been certified by the aviation industry, the ICAO, as a center of excellence. We have done well. We've been training pilots for the past 60 years. So next slide, please. Like I told you, now we are full and interim accreditation of the National Board for Technical Education for Higher National Diploma. We offer that. National Diploma courses in aircraft maintenance engineering, electrical, electronics, and aviation management status of the Polytechnic. Now, here, when you see these courses, these are from management courses and other people. I can't give you HND pilot. I can't give you HND dispatcher. I can't give you HND cabin crew. Why? Because these are courses that are license-based. It is by law. Most of the courses in aviation are license-based. So even if you have a HND, in order for you to operate fully in this industry, you must obtain a license. I'm getting myself clear. All right. So next one, please. Non-accredited educational member of the Aviation Accreditation Board International and council member of the Association of Aircraft Aviation Training Organization, AATO. Now, this is just the governing council, how school is being governed. We have a governing council, we have an academic board, college management, school board, and departmental board. Next. Okay, so now there's, like I told you, there are 6 training schools. We have the flying school, aircraft maintenance engineering school, aeronautical telecommunications engineering school, air traffic services communication school, aviation management school, AMS, and then the airport emergency training school. These are the 6 schools. You know, and under every school there are different courses. So you have a lot to select. It's not that, but you need to like have an understanding, and I'll go along as we go. Next. Now, if you notice here, we have the flying school, we have the pilot training, flight dispatcher, cabin crew. Now, there's only one person that is missing here, which we don't do, but he starts up as a pilot. He's only the only person that has dual nationality. That's the aircraft flight engineer. He's a pilot, and he's an
Aircraft engineer.
but with modern day technology, sorry, there are no more flight engineers. Because in the past, we used to have an aircraft that has 3 people, pilot, co-pilot, flight engineer. The flight engineer sits at the back and 2 pilots are in front. And some of the equipment or the indicators are moved to the flight engineer side of it that has to do with the engines and everything. But with technology now, everything has been narrowed down, so you find that the flight engineer has become a little bit like an obsolete something. So that's why you see that we only have those 3 people there. Next. Okay, when you go to aircraft maintenance engineering school, we have the maintenance engineering itself, ND aircraft engineering technology, HND aircraft maintenance engineering technology, airframe and power plant avionics, postgraduate in airport engineering. Now, there's a catch here for those of you that want to be engineers. All right, you can see that you have ND, HND, that. Now, also around, which has not been included here, is the license preparatory course. You might graduate from all these courses, apart from the first one, which is aircraft maintenance engineering, which can either be A&P or you can be an avionics engineer. Under that thing, there are different sections. You have avionics, you have radio, you have A&P, airframe and power plants, all under what you call aircraft maintenance engineer. Right? But when you finish these HND courses, doesn't mean you can't work as a pilot, as an engineer in the aviation field. But the law requires you have a license. So you now go and do a license preparatory course, and then you have credit for you to become an aircraft maintenance engineer. So because it's normal anywhere in the world, everybody in the aviation field, most people work based on what? A license. Thank you. Next. Okay, and we have the air traffic service communication school. You have air traffic control training, aeronautical communication, and language and everything. Well, of course, we have to speak language, you know, but it doesn't mean that worldwide. Because if you fly to China today now, you will have a controller that will, you know, translate English into Chinese. You know, but for now, in this country, we are based on the English language. You know, because funny part of it, because communication is very important in this industry, and we have people that do the communication there. And I'm going to ask you one very quick question. If you can just give me an interpretation. Can somebody give me a right turn to the left? That's why we have a communication school. I'm only asking if anybody can perform a right turn to the left. Just the right turn to the left. Now that's communication. Let's not waste time. You know, and it's simple. It only means give me a correct turn to the right or to the left. Because the man in the Scandinavian countries knows either that anything that is correct is right. That is by his own limit of English language. So when you tell him give me a right turn to the left, all he's asking is to give you a correct turn to the left. So that's how we have to do communication, and that's why it's very important in this language. Next, please. Now, the telecommunication school, we have aeronautical telecommunication engineering training and the electrical engineering technology. Now, these are people that maintain the nav aids that we use in flying. You know, without the nav aids, you can't go from point A to point B. You can. You can. I'm not saying you cannot. You can. But you have limited usage. Because what we do, basically flying is based on radio navigation. So if you have what you call a visual flight rules, which is remaining in sight of ground and water. But by the time you get into the cloud, how is the ground and how do you see the water? So definitely you need some form of navigational aid to go from point A to point B. And those people that make sure that this thing is serviceable. Or how can you imagine that you have 2,000 aircrafts in the sky? How do they get to know where is this and where is that? We're all tracking on radio navigation. So we have these engineers here from this school that maintain that and make sure that yes, everything is safe and sound. Next.
Airspace. Give us 2,000.
Now, having done that, these are all the professional courses that we have gone through, -1 to come. Now, who manages us? Just like we're in here now, everybody's here. We brought all these people together. We need somebody to do the management. I can't be in the cockpit and be doing the management, or the engineer repairing the aeroplane and he's doing the management. No, it doesn't work out that way. All right. So for now, we have those people too. We have courses in the management school. That is to say, you might be outside the aviation industry and you want to do a course in aviation. You can do PGD aviation management. You can do that in something, and that's what that school is all about. Next. Now, this is the firefighting school. Now, we realized initially it came at a later stage. And we have a firefighting simulator. Now, what happens? When in terms of an incident, you have people that are from FAN. You have the fire service people, whatever it is. But yes, they are trained to be firemen or firewomen or fire personnel, if you want to choose it that way. But can they handle an aviation fire? That's where the problem is. Because even within the aircraft itself, you have what you call the cabin fire, you have what you call engine fire. And when you say engine fire, which engine are you talking about? Are you talking about an aircraft that just has 2 engines? No. The aircrafts that have engines too at the tail.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? So this machine now is what you call a firefighting simulator. We power it on, and when they have a course, you invite firemen that have applied for these courses, and they come and undergo this course, so that they will be able to determine which kind of fire it is. Because there are different engines too. You have jet engines, you have props, you have turboprop, you have this. So at the end of the day, that is where they learn how to fight the kind of fire we have in the aviation industry. All right? So these are the 6 schools that are in NINCAT. And like I said, let me digress a little bit. It sounds funny, but it's okay. I decided to learn the 6 schools in a different way.
Okay.
And I'll tell you, don't feel, please, I am just being my own fun. I'm not insulting anybody. I look at NINCAT as a very, very big mechanic workshop. You know, first of all, I look at the mechanic workshop. Top on the list is the taxi driver. That's me. I mean, then you have the mechanic, that's the aircraft maintenance engineer. Then you have the traffic warden, like people on the road that control traffic. Hey, you pass, you go. Air traffic controller. Then you have who is that conductor, cabin crew. Then you have the welder that repairs electrician, electronic telecommunications engineer.
Okay.
There are plenty. So you find out that it's a nice little community, but interwoven. And as you go along the line, the fact that you choose one career out of it does not mean you cannot change into another career. All right? I have classmates that were engineers and they became pilots. I have people that were cabin crew that became pilots. Likewise, I have people that were pilots that now became fully managers. So it is an open ground. It is a nice place to work for. It's dynamic. It is interesting. But it depends on you as a human being. Are you ready to say, this is it? It is your choice. I have gained from it. I have enjoyed from it. And in all honesty, I have no regrets. If I'm to come back in another life, I will definitely be a pilot.
Oh.
But first of all, before I go, I'll tell you a little secret of mine. To tell you one thing about it, it's just a flamboyant life. Enjoy yourself. I didn't become a pilot just because I woke up like you and decided to say, somebody, yeah, of course, they used to advertise, then they bring an aircraft and everything, we see it as small children, and you wanted to be a pilot. But let me confess to you, I was in APU, and we had a party, and aviation is next door. So some aviation boys came, I don't know whether they were engineers or whatever it is, but they came from aviation. That's the key word. They came from aviation. And we refused to allow them enter the party. So they went back to their campus and organized a party in aviation. Of course, they were paid every month. They get paid every month. Then, all right? 30 minutes later, they had organized their own party. Came back to ABU and whispered to the ladies, there's a party in aviation.
Of course.
30 minutes later, we were all standing there, food, drinks, everything. All the ladies had gone to aviation. And the following day I said, if that is where the enjoyment is, here I come. And that's how I became a pilot too. So ladies and gentlemen, it was nice talking to you. On behalf of my rector, I want to thank the sponsors and all of you for attending here. And please be our guest anytime. We'll be ready to train you at the shortest possible time. Thank you very much.
Please, let's keep clapping. If I had this kind of information when I was young, maybe I would have told the part of a pilot too. I particularly like that last part. The bit about all the women going to the parties and everything. I might just have joined Captain there. Thank you, Captain, for a very insightful, informative presentation. Please, let's give him another round of applause. Captain, your mouth is sweet too.
I say.
I'm telling you, me, I don't do 20 years plus for communication. Now I want to go to NCAT and become a pilot. Okay, ladies and gentlemen, it is still the Fireside Chat with African Aviators, brought to you by the African Aviation Group with support from Embraer and Aviadev Africa. On the theme, mentoring through compelling narratives. At this juncture, ladies and gentlemen, we want to take some goodwill remarks. We're privileged to have with us the CEO of Aviators Management Academy. Please put your hands together for Mr. Tony Ukachukwu as he delivers his goodwill remarks. Thank you. Please keep clapping till he gets here. Keep clapping, keep clapping, keep clapping. Thank you very, very, very much. Thank you.
Good morning, everyone. It's a pleasure to be here. First of all, I want to thank Jose for being able to finally cut his teeth when it comes to organizing events. So well done, Jose. Congratulations, well done. I won't take much of your time. Basically, it's a pleasure to be here, like I said earlier on. Capacity building and career development is what we've been passionate about. We've been doing this for the last 10 years or so across different African countries. And each time we go do outreaches, one thing stands out. A lot of people ask, where do we get funding from? So funding becomes a major issue. But like Jose rightly said, a lot of people talk about funding, but mentorship is very paramount and is key. when it comes to capacity building and career development for the next generation of aviators, in not only in Nigeria but in Africa. As the forecasts have shown from Boeing, Airbus, AFRA, and all the organizations that are out there, IATA, of course, there's going to be a skills gap in the aviation industry in the next 10 years. The challenge is not that the OEMs, the aircraft manufacturers, will not be able to manufacture planes, but the key challenge is the skilled manpower to operate these machines is going to be one of the problems. So you see, you needed close to 22,000 pilots, over 20,000 cabin crew and engineers in the next couple of years. That skills gap becomes a major challenge. So when you have the aircraft who are the skilled manpower that are going to operate these aircraft. Thank you. The captain from UCAT has already talked about, having a facility where training can take place. However, the challenge we also have is we have a lot of ATOs, Aviation Training Organization, churning out people from these schools, but spaces are also limited. That is also a major challenge. Now begin to think, how do we create opportunity for the next generation of aviators? The good news is, some of us in this space have been working for the last couple of years in trying to close this gap from a solution-driven point of view. It might also interest some of you here that have started out as a cabin crew. That's how I started my career in the aviation industry. Of course, most of us stumbled into the sector as well. They never get you prepared for this sector. Elsewhere, you see a young lad tell you, when I grow up, I want to be a pilot, I want to be an engineer. It doesn't happen here, which is why we have to drill down this sector or the opportunities in this sector up until the very, to even primary schools and secondary schools, if we will, create some kind of curriculum that helps people envisage the career path in the aviation industry and pursue it. Not because, I'll give you a typical example. Elsewhere, abroad, when you come to your typical cockpit, you see somebody that just finished school and just goes to aviation school, and in his early 20s is already in the cockpit, sometimes even in the left seat. But what you find in Nigeria here is that we have to finish our university degree, having become a medical doctor or an engineer or a biochemist. You now want to begin to pursue our career. Then our span is very short. That is why it is very important that we catch them young and begin to inspire, not only inspire them, show them the career trajectory and the path that aviation provides. And that's what we'll be trying to do. Very soon, very shortly, we're going to be launching a program where we're going to be giving opportunity to those that have passion in aviation, to pursue careers in aviation, the opportunity to go through a program from the Aviators Management Academy and get all expense paid, trip, tuition, flight, accommodation, and all the works, and at the end of the day, get paid employment. So it's an end-to-end solution we're trying to provide. So you don't have a situation where you're able to go to school, come out, and then you're looking for a job. I get a whole lot of people coming to my DM. I've got a cabin crew license. I've gotten this. I'm looking for a job. Plethora of messages to my DM. But again, I don't have to talk much about it. This is the first time I'm using the opportunity at this fire chat to talk about it. But I'm saying there are solutions available. You just have to key yourself in, be positioned in the sector, be knowledgeable about your pursuit to pursue your career in aviation, and be passionate about it. Delay is not denial. It might be waiting 2 years, it doesn't matter. Just follow. Mama J is here. She is a great resource in the industry, sharing nuggets, gems, mentorship, all you need to know about pursuing a career in aviation. Such kind of people are the people we need to follow in the industry, and also mentorship, like we cannot overemphasize, is very key. Some of us stumble into it and made mistakes. By the time you will tell you our experiences and you learn from them, it will better give you a career projection and career trajectory. Thank you very much. My name is Tony Kachuku.
Can we give him another round of applause? Tony is my very good friend of many years. I remember when I was at Dana, and Tony was publisher of a new magazine at the time. It was called Aviators. Tony, is it Aviators? Aviators magazine. And they wanted to do a shoot on a jet. And they had approached me to use the Dana. Tony, do you remember the Dana jet at the time? So
Yeah,
that was
yeah.
how Tony and I became friends, and we've become like brothers since that time. It's a pleasure to see you. All the good things you're doing, Tony, we see it. Well done. Keep up the good work. We will now take another goodwill message, this time a recorded video message from the Regional VP Sales at Embraer, Mr. Francisco Moraes. Please let's watch the goodwill message.
Where is the sound? Pause it.
We can follow the writing just below.
They didn't touch this shit. They're supposed to have tested it. They're supposed to have some testing.
Okay, I'm going to help out here. They say aviation is not as attractive, with pilots becoming a commodity and aeronautic technology reaching its limits, losing interest. In face of more disruptive digital activities, I kind of disagree, as in my journey from engineering to sales, I have seen so many inspiring opportunities in such a complex industry. Designing a flying machine is certainly fascinating, but it is real operations that you must integrate multiple resources in a dynamic environment for the ultimate customer satisfaction.
Continue, please.
Aviation is a unique means of integration and development, especially in Africa. Furthermore, and by safety requirements, aviation is extremely rich in information, making the perfect database available for big data analysis in information and artificial intelligence opportunities in every area of activity. Finally, we're all challenged by sustainable practices for minimum environmental impact, and aviation is hugely investing to make a technological leap step ahead in this regard. Having said that, and expecting you have got the interest, I push you to invest in your education for starting an aviation career. There, I am sure you will naturally find out opportunities that make sense for you and their stated motivation to make the difference. This is the way to success. Thanks a lot, and profit of the day with joy. A round of applause for the Embraer VP, Regional Sales VP, Mr. Francisco Moraes. There is a video, but we will take care of the audio issues and come back to the video later. Distinguished ladies and gentlemen, it is still the fireside chat with African aviators, themed mentoring through compelling narratives. I did say when I started that my work here is like that of the biblical John the Baptist. I said that I am not good enough to untie the laces of the shoes of those that are coming after me. Those people that I was talking about, it is about time to bring them on for our fireside chat. I would like to start by inviting the moderators of this session, and this is like the key session for today, I would like to start by inviting a very renowned travel and tourism journalist. She has been producer and presenter for very many years of the program called L'Adresse, Adachi's L'Adresse, Adachi Uchendu's L'Adresse. Please welcome to the podium our first moderator for today's event, Ms. Adachi Uchendu. A round of applause for her as she comes. Also co-moderating this session is the founder, Africa Aviation Group, our chief host for today. Please put your hands together for Mr. Chidozie Uzo Ezie. A round of applause for him as he comes. So this next introduction is very, very important that I get it right. Distinguished ladies and gentlemen, please join me in welcoming our next guest, who is a seasoned professional with extensive experience in the aviation industry. He began his career with Aero Contractors in 1998, right after completing his NYSC. He then became a key member of the startup team at Virgin Nigeria, where he led the material management unit. Following this, he had a brief stint with Flynas, a low-cost carrier based in Riyadh, Saudi Arabia. In 2013, he joined Embraer, a Brazilian aircraft manufacturer undertaking missions to various locations. He spent 4 years in the Middle East and another 4 years in East Africa, making significant contributions to Embraer operators in these regions. In his current role, he excels at managing Embraer's customer supply chain needs in a highly demanding environment, ensuring top-notch service and satisfaction. Distinguished ladies and gentlemen, please a warm round of applause as we welcome to the podium Mr. Debo Adewolu. You're very, very welcome, sir. Thank you for honoring our invitation. Please take the seat right in the center. The seat right in the center. Our host did say that we are in for compelling stories today, and to join us on this panel, I would like to welcome two commercial airline artists. The first is a lady trailblazer in this industry, talking about none other than Captain Ibirunke Rotimi Olajide. A round of applause for her. There are very, very few captains in the industry, and it is no mean feat. You're very welcome, ma'am. Thank you for joining us. Please take the seat to the right of Mr. Adewolu. Thank you for joining us. Also to join us in this panel is another captain, commercial airline pilot, Captain Callistus Ifeanyi. A round of applause for him as he comes. Like I said, this session promises to be very insightful, so please let us pay attention, let us make notes, and if we have questions at the end of the session, there will be an opportunity to answer those questions. I shall now hand over to our moderators. to take it from here. Thank you.
Thank you once again for coming to this program. I appreciate your presence. The MC has done so we have to do something about it. Like I promised earlier, we are in for some good stories, compelling stories. These are some of them. We have some of Africa's finest pilots on stage. And this for the club. We have Captain Calixtus. He's a special breed. Let you all know that. He is one of the most popular pilots in Nigeria as we speak. In fact, he's a celebrity pilot. Anybody wants more?
He's a celebrity pilot.
So this story is very, very interesting, very compelling. I don't really so much out, but he'll tell his story by himself. But I would say that, like I said earlier, he had challenging childhood. So he struggled with things he struggled with every day. He didn't have his parents, but here he is today.
Second.
No. So while he does that, I'd like to go to Captain Irinke. She's a trailblazer. She's started glassing. She's one of Africa's finest pilots. She's one of many friends. These, you can't get it better anywhere. These are some of the best pilots we have in Africa. You understand? So we met our choices very carefully because of their stories, which are very, very compelling. In between them, sandwiched in between them is Devos, a fine professional who has been with many airlines, many OEMs, like he's worked with the Virgin Nigeria, so he's a Virgin Nigeria, aero contractors, Flynas, and now with Embraer. Embraer is, by the way, the third largest aircraft manufacturer in the whole world. Every 10 seconds, an Embraer aircraft takes off and lands somewhere. So in the last 1 hour or so, about 600 aircraft are taken from London. So another one for I'd like to introduce my co-pilot. Well, I know we have two pilots on this pilot, but I'm the captain. And she's my co-pilot, Adachi Jendo. Another couple of please. Captain Calixtus, I'm telling you this. Who are you today?
This is love.
Another update, don't you?
Update, always do.
Update full ground.
I watched one of the videos a couple of. Okay, take a look at that picture. Take a look. Captain is somewhere in that mix. This was many years ago. You know what, please?
Look at him today.
Take a look at that. You can see the same contrast between the first picture and the second picture. If anyone told you many years ago that you'd be in that cockpit today, you wouldn't have believed it. But he struggled, he was determined, he worked hard, and here he is today calling the shot in cockpit. It's not for him. Captain Calixtus, you said he wasn't born with silver spoon. You said he wasn't born with silver at all. Right, it was a rubber spoon of plastic. Show you how
bad it was.
But today he's a pilot. Captain, I want to tell us your story. How did it begin for you? Tell us your story. Listen.
All right, everybody, good morning to you all. I will start on the existing protocol. Like you introduced, it was a challenging one for me growing up. Sometimes when I'm telling my stories, I feel somehow emotional about it, because those are stages of life that we pass through to get to where we aspire to be. When I was growing up, it might interest you to know that you know, somehow nowadays you're going to school, your school they will take you on excursion and bring you to the airport or take you to the, you know, sightseeing and all that. During our own days, there's nothing like excursion. I don't even know if that English existed to then in the dictionary though. Anyways, the picture you just displayed was in my JS2. That was my JS2 then, and I was in the seminary then to become a Reverend Father.
How did you go from being a Reverend Father to being a pilot?
I spent the whole of my secondary school in the seminary. 8 years at that, finished my secondary school, then went for apostolic work 2 years before the church now said you can find your vocation elsewhere. And the next journey of life began. When I was growing up, they used to ask people, what do you want to be in future? The only thing I wanted then was to see myself in the television being watched by people. I don't know how it would happen, but whenever we are watching television then, of which you know some of our elderly people now, television was not as rampant as it is in every home now. Those days, we are part of those ones that we, peep through the window to watch Jamina. For those that know that movie Jamina, those days, So, but my dream then was, all these people I'm seeing on the television one day, that the world will watch me on the television, that is just it. Passed through the seminary, came out of the seminary, went through the university, and in the course of me going through the university was when life was hitting so hard. When you wake on school, you don't know
Where your next meal
if
is
you're
coming
going
from.
to eat that day. The only hope that I always have is that I have people around me always paying for my school fees. To this I give it to my uncle then, Chief Obiora Ifani. He was always paying for my school fees, so the rest, pocket money, blah blah blah, and all that, survivor kits and all that is on me. As God may have it then, I was able to buy a bike when I finished my apostolic work. When they sent me off,
Guys,
when
just
you
click on
finish
the
serving
like
the Reverend
button.
Father, the parish will do you send forth and all that. So the money they used in sending me forth, that was what I used to buy Okada then. I never knew. I wanted to do it higher purchase, but after a while, I
Please
saw
click
that
on the
man,
like
this
button,
higher
guys,
purchase
so
is
that
not
this
doing me
life
any
can
good.
get to other
Bring
people.
back
This
my
is
bike.
really an
I
interesting
can ride.
story.
That was how
How
the journey of
this
becoming,
captain
being in school and riding
went from being
Okada.
a Reverend
started.
Father to an Okada
So I
driver
go
to now
to
being a
school
pilot.
in Anambra State University then, Monday to Friday. Friday afternoon after lectures, I go down to Oka and I will ride bike at the odd hours too. I don't ride during the day because I don't make more money during the day. It's at the night time when they put curfew by 7 o'clock. That's the time I start my own bike. Now you will be faced with the people that will the passengers that will want to collect all the money that you work for the night, the police that are chasing the Okada people, the ones that will, so many things, the code and, all that, passing through all those. Early morning on Monday, I drive, I enter the next bus and go back to school. Next weekend is the turn of my senior brother. So we were switching it that way. Then if it's holidays, we ride bike all through. That is how we kept on pushing it till we graduated. When we graduated, he graduated before me, he was ahead of me definitely. So he went for his service. When I was waiting for youth service, I continued with my Okada, but I wanted to be an electrical electronics engineer. As the Nigerian system will always channel you to the side that you don't know. That was what I applied for. I ended up studying physics. You know, without knowing that God has his own plans though. So, knowing that I wanted to become an electrical electronics engineer, I ventured into learning it practical. So, where I was learning it is like a distance of, would I say, Ikorodu to Aja. So every morning, I would drive my bike from Oka to Ihiala. That's to Mbosi. Mbosi is my town. I would drive to Mbosi. Now, from Mbosi, we can now go to anywhere my boss says that is where we have work. And we do what? We learn, we start doing our work for that day. Once we finish work 5 p.m., I will drive my bike back to Oka. This distance is just like you driving from maybe Ikorodu to Aja or even Ebe every day. Once I'm entering Oka, my bag that I used to learn work with hammer and screwdriver and all the tools is in front of me, on the bike. As I'm entering Amobia, I start picking passengers. I would drive my Okada Oslo till like maybe sometimes 2 a.m., 3 a.m. I go and sleep 2 hours, wake up again, 5:30, 6 o'clock in the morning. The race continues again. I drive back to go and learn my work until youth service called. After like 2 months, I went for youth service. Now, going for youth service, everything about me is what? Strategic. Alright? It's not a news that youth service in Nigeria, you can find your way where you want. It's no news. So, I found my way to, initially I wanted it to be in Akwa Ibom State. From Akwa Ibom I said, no, let it be River State. From River State, I said, no, I want it to be Bayelsa State. Why? I was looking out for somebody. I wanted to catch that person in the field without knowing where the person is. But what the person does is what I'm looking out for. Now, I ended up in Bayelsa. In Bayelsa State, I went there with my bike as well. As a youth corps, I go and teach in the daytime. 7 p.m., I will start my bike. From Okolo to Bayelsa State, I will drive and enter Yenegua town. And I will also, sometimes I do it round the clock. I leave by 7, I come back by 7 a.m. Sometimes, depend when the passengers finish, that is when I close. So that was it. So I continued doing that. While I was doing that, I was the president of my town student union then. So once we have meetings, I always do what? I always go to the village and organize the meeting, and I come back and continue with my youth service and my hustle. Now in my community, we made our chairman. I'm sorry I'm taking you guys too long. We made our chairman, the chairman of Air Peace Airline. We made him the grand patron of the Association for Student Union. And the dad in 2012, he was organizing a 80th birthday for the dad. So I felt like, okay, the association, we need to do something for him, not financial, but even if it's service for your event that day. That was it. So I contacted my people and I said, okay, we need to be there, blah, 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 and all that. And that was it. The event came, it went well. After that, I was supposed to go back to, what's it called? To Bayelsa State and continue with my youth service. But one thing kept telling me, okay, please, let's see our chairman. Even my secretary then was telling me, what are we seeing him for? I said, I don't know. The spirit just tells me, let's just see him. Easter Sunday passed, Monday, Tuesday, trying to get to meet him. We couldn't until on Thursday. The cousin was doing a wedding. I strategically told my team, well, like 4. I said, you know what, we have to attend this wedding. So once the chairman is coming, it's just like this hall where we are now, upstairs, and the staircase is downstairs. So once the chairman is coming, we will go very early. That is what? Planning, packaging, and what? You being focused on whatever you want to achieve. I told them, okay, it's time. When we heard that the chairman is around, it's time. Let's go and stand on the door, just by the staircase. There is no way he wouldn't see me. And that was what we did. When he was coming upstairs, he saw me, he said, AC, how are you? Fine, sir. I said, okay, I'm sorry, I've been busy, blah, blah, blah. Please see me this night by 7 p.m. All right, I said, oh, thank God. We went there by 7 p.m. Normal people that are used to, what's it called, East and some other places in the village, once you're prominent or you're influential, people will always gather in front of your gates to, get some favors and all that. We went there, so many people were there. We stayed till 11 p.m. It was our turn now to see him, and we entered. If you ask me what I'm there to talk with the man, I don't know. As God may have it, we came. He said, sit down. We sat down. How are you? Fine. Everybody introduced themselves. He was now the person that was raising topics that we were discussing. After some time, he now said, Secretary, what did you study in school? Secretary said, my provost was there, myself and I've forgotten the other person's position, but we are 2 guys and 2 ladies. Myself was the last one. He said, President, what did you study in school? I said, I studied physics. Oh, wow, you studied physics? I said, yes, sir. Remember, not because I applied for school. Do you know physics? I said, by the grace of God. He said, okay. What of geography? I said, geography was my best subject when I was in secondary school.
My best too.
He said, oh, wow.
Why?
Would you like to be a pilot? I paused, just like I paused now. He felt it and he said, I know you, maybe you might not understand what I'm saying. I'm not talking about my convoy. Then he has the convoy, pilot 1, pilot 2. I'm not talking about those ones. I'm talking about aeroplane pilot. I was like, wow. I've never seen an aeroplane before. I've never seen an airport in my life before. So when they are talking about silver spoon and the golden spoon, like they say, in fact, my own life there was no spoon. So I said, yes, sir. So he says, are you sure? I said, if human beings are doing it, I can do it. He said, that is the spirit. And that was how the journey started to today.
I feel you guys, you are in for some great narratives today. was very confident. I didn't want her to
Yeah, God knows how to.
emotional or
These things.
happy or sad story. If you think you're having bad times, if you see that story, he had bad times as a child from secondary school. So if you think you're having challenges, learn from his own stories. And Captain Kalisis, I have a lot of questions for you. One more for now.
Okay.
When you were going to see Captain Barisoniana, I'm sure you didn't have big part of the back of your mind. You wanted
said
some
it.
small
You said it
change
now.
or something.
Yes, he said it.
He
He said it that he doesn't know. He didn't know what he came there for.
I want to ask you, what role do you think that your Okada, do you feel that your Okada played a role in, I mean, it appears you were just conspired to put you in the right place at the right time. Do you think that your Okada played a role in all of this?
One thing I would say about the Okada in relation to the aviation is, remember, just like my story, I put it out there now. Everything is strategic for me. Now, me going through the Okada is, I was not trained to, this Okada was just the one that is just coming out there. I did so many things as a child. I didn't grow up looking up to people for help. I was always being independent of myself. While growing up, you see all these children carrying granite, hawking granite on the streets. I hawked granite from my primary 3 to primary, SS1. That cooked granite they carry in tray. I hawked it from my primary 3 to SS1.